Tonight, two fires continue to burn out of control near the Grand Canyon. And now, the scale of all that's been lost is coming into focus.
The Dragon Bravo fire has burned over 5,000 acres and destroyed more than 70 structures, including the historic Grand Canyon Lodge. Meantime, the White Sage fire has burned nearly 50,000 acres.
Both of these fires remain uncontained tonight. They're burning about 35 miles apart near the north rim of the Grand Canyon, which officials say will now be closed for the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us tonight for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Kadiba Devine. 12 News journalist Joe Dana has more on the impact of the fire, including hearing from one woman who had to evacuate from the Colorado River.
The leaders of two towns that rely on tourism here at the south rim of the Grand Canyon, including Williams, want everyone to know that the south rim remains open. Hikers can still hike partway down into the canyon. As for the north rim, that is a story of closures and destruction.
It seems like every year I'm out there beating my hammer saying driest ever, hottest ever.
Stefan Lasky of an elite-level incident fire management team that took over the Dragon Bravo fire Monday says the fire burning 11 miles from here is a sign of the times.
We know for a fact that this year, the Southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, it's record-breaking dryness.
Meanwhile, life goes on at the South Rim, where tourists endured a smoky visit Monday.
I was bummed about the quality of the pictures that we're going to get. I'm wondering if I can filter that out. It affects your entire sense of nervous system, your well-being, I'm constantly worried about air quality.
Kelly's son is with a group of young scholars visiting northern Arizona.
They canceled the rafting, which was a huge bummer for my 10-year-old son, and hard to come here after living in LA is where we're from and going through those fires.
One hiker is grateful today. She reached the bottom before evacuation set in over the weekend and is now back at her Prescott home. She tells 12 News she was at the Colorado River's Phantom Ranch campground for just 3 hours before the Park Service told her she needed to evacuate by helicopter.
It was pretty nerve-wracking. There was a couple younger kids crying.
Meanwhile, along with the smoke, questions linger in the air over the canyon. Arizona's governor and some Democratic Congress members want an independent investigation to determine why the Park Service may have taken a defensive approach early on. The fire was detected July 4th and slowly grew for 5 days while the Park Service kept a confine and contain strategy. Lasky did not comment on strategy, but says the fire blew up on the 11th and 12th.
Normally, we can expect the fire to lay down at night. Temperatures go down, humidity goes up. Usually the winds are quiet. Well, we had strong winds both those nights, and now we have a total of 70 structures lost.
Now, in addition to the historic lodge, the gas station, the apartments and cabins that were destroyed over at the North Rim, there is still a question about a 40,000 square foot emergency services facility there. It is a huge asset for the federal government and for that region. We've asked the Park Service and the U.S. Forest Service, still no word from them, no confirmation on whether that emergency services building was destroyed or protected. At the South Rim, Joe Dana, 12 News.
Joe, thanks. Now, let's give you a look from inside the national park. This was taken just 4 minutes ago. A live webcam that sends out still images shows how intensely the Dragon Bravo fire continues to burn. We'll have continuing coverage on 12news.com and, of course, tomorrow morning on Today in AZ.